that's where the world is going. Like, people are finally realizing like trades is where the money is going to be made these days over something like corporate America. With what's happening with AI, entry-level jobs are just so hard to get now. College is expensive. Like, there's just so many factors why people are diving into these industries.
Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. I don't know how to describe them. It's like a mercenary team of marketers. That's what I've decided. They're like a bunch of savages killing the marketing game. We got Bodhi in the house. What's up, my man?
Thank you for having me. How are you today?
I'm doing good, my man. I'm doing good. So there's a couple different elements to hit here. Let's first talk about your business that you started and then you sold, and then we'll jump into the marketing. So kind of share that story of starting that business from nothing and then selling it off.
So I left corporate America marketing. I didn't start it from nothing. I actually bought the business from someone. I was in corporate America doing marketing. I was actually doing SEO in corporate America. Left that to buy this business, decided to be my own boss. With my cousin, we had a pretty good partnership, and we were like, hey, this business for sale. We should just buy this, be our own boss. Your typical sweaty startup type of thing. The reason why I chose dumpsters over, I owned a dumpster rental company. The reason why I chose dumpsters over other businesses like pressure washing, junk removal, I did some of that. But those types of businesses is because it's very easy to delegate. All I needed was a driver, and the driver would be able to pick up and drop off my dumpsters and give them to people. So started that business, scaled it pretty quickly. And pretty much what I was doing is just all back-end operations. I was doing marketing. I was answering the phone. I was billing customers. I was collecting cash, accounts receivable, accounts payable. Pretty much every single part of the business you can think of, I was doing.
So, there's a million people out there listening who will see a clip of this and they're stuck in a job they don't like. They never thought about being an owner. They didn't know if they want to start a business from scratch. Like, what's your advice to them? You bought into a business, you had a partner, could you see yourself starting that business from scratch? Was it easier to buy a business?
I think it's easier to buy a business personally, but I wouldn't be buying a business like how private equity buys businesses with like 5x EBITDA and all these crazy numbers and whatnot. What I would do if I was someone looking to buy a business personally, just like what I did, I found a business that didn't have a website, didn't have a Facebook, couldn't even find their name online, and added that to the business with a recurring aspect to it. So when I bought the business, I already had customers in place. I still had roofers in place. Like, I had a ton of customers in place already, not a ton, but a good amount to make a small living off of, then build off of. And I think that is key to starting any business, buying any business. Like, have a little bit of a recurring base of repeat clients that you can then build off of. Because a lot of people are buying businesses like roofing, and roofing, people don't want to hear this, I'm sure. It's a sales and marketing game. And when you buy a roofing company, you're buying the brand, you're buying the equipment. At the end of the day, if you can't sell or market, your business is not going to make it, or it's going to be much harder to.
No, it's so true. And I we just got off a podcast, and one of the things I was talking about, and I'd be interested because a lot of your clients do all the above. I feel like the attention on landscape, roofing, HVAC, plumbing, it's almost too much right now. And so, had you looked at other businesses? Why dumpster? It's so boring. like
it's so boring. Like I said, I looked at landscaping. I looked at landscaping. I looked at 2 landscaping companies. And I think with dumpsters is like, we had a driver already who has been driving dump trucks for 40 years or 30 years since he was like 18 years old. And it was just like, I don't have to be in the truck every day, but I can run the back end of the business. Like, Like, I don't have to be washing houses. I don't have to be like mowing lawns or whatnot. Like, all I have to do is learn how to drive a truck. If I have to actually get into it at the end of the day, like all I had to learn was like I need to be able to drive the truck. Where like these other businesses, it's so hard to delegate. Or something like a dumpster business, once you get to a certain size, delegation is much easier on the physical labor side of things than HVAC or roofing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't want to be putting in an air conditioning installation, like you don't want to be able to put in an air conditioner, like.
No, you shouldn't. And if I was putting in an AC for you in your home, we've got concerns. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And like, you don't have. So like my driver, let's say he was like, pay me more money or I'm out of here. I'd be like, you're out of here because I can do the same job as you. And that's where I see most people, I think, make mistakes when they get into these businesses. Like they'll buy an electrical company, but all their workers leave. Then what? What do you do?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think ultimately, like what I've told business owners is like sometimes, right? Not on the technical side, but sometimes it's okay for people to leave within your company for you to have to do that job for a certain time. So now then when that person is in that role, like a lot of times, like, the joke that I tell my, a lot of employees is like, be careful when you go on vacation. Because like when you go on vacation, like when you go on vacation, the boss, the CEO might have to step in. He might realize that he could do your work in half the time.
What we tell our employees at Stryker, it's like we run this business like a sports team. Whoever is the best will be treated as the best. They will be the captain. And it's just like, it doesn't matter if you've been working with us for 5 years or you've been working with us for 1 year. If you're the best, we're going to treat you that way. Yeah. Seniority obviously means a little bit, but not much, because like we're all about the best talent, like any sports team. Like I don't care if you're the worst player you're the best player on the basketball team. If you're not doing good during this game, you're going to sit on the bench. And that's just how it should be ran,
Wow. It's like one of the things is like, do you have 20? So I have 20 years of work experience. No, do you have 20 years of work experience, 1 year?
Yeah.
Right. And like, that's the truth. And like, so like where I think we're getting to with technology and just the barriers to entry being lower, like my other kind of analogy is like, you can have the number one song in America and not be signed to a label anymore. Like you could just uploaded it. So like the same in business, like you can teach yourself to do all these things, but like, I don't want to do the SEO on a day in day basis. That's a lot of work. So then you hire somebody like you. And so when you in the midst of like having the business, did you start the marketing firm at the same time or was it started afterwards?
So this is why I started the marketing firm. I work with a lot of roofers, like I was saying earlier. I still work with 5 roofers from my hometown, and which I don't do anymore, but like they want me to work with them and they all know that we work with them, blah, blah, blah. But they were like, dude, you're blowing up. Like we're seeing your dumpsters everywhere. What the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? We're seeing your dumpsters everywhere. We're seeing you on Facebook, Google. Like, what are you doing? And I told them, and they were like, can you do that for me? I was like, of course I can. The more roofs you sell, the more dumpsters I sell, and then you pay me a monthly fee to do your SEO. It's a win-win for everyone. And that just became the spiral effect. Then I started posting about it on Facebook. And then Twitter, and eventually the business just went bananas because I started posting about it on Twitter. And like, I'm like a no BS kind of guy, say it how it is. And people were just tired of marketing companies who are the opposite of me.
Well, I mean, it's the truth. I've worked with so many companies that we consult for, and I think we've fired every marketing company that we've come on board. And it's not even a case of like, here's the situation. It's not even a case of that they're not working. It's that the client doesn't have access to the data. The client doesn't understand it's a black box where their money's going, and like, dude, how can we make a sound business decision if we can't have a general conversation about where the marketing's being spent?
It's the same thing with accounting too. It's the same exact thing with accounting.
Great point.
It's like for us,
go ahead. Yeah.
We had a bad accountant for 1 year and we had a good accountant. Now we have a good accountant, and it's like, holy crap. If we want to spend $50,000 a month on Facebook ads, we know we can because we know our numbers to a T. And I think that's important for just every business, not only marketing, like knowing your numbers.
Okay. So this will be fun with you. We're going to talk to 3 of them, but give me the top thing that business owners have wrong about marketing in its current state?
It's a great question. That's a great question. First thing where business owners have wrong is they think it's just going to start right away. Actually, no, let's start with this. The first thing business owners have wrong is like that one marketing lead could lead to many more leads. At the end of the day, word of mouth marketing is the best form of marketing. So let's say I'm running Google ads for you. It's $1,000 per conversion, let's say. And you land that job, but you break even on that job because you paid a lot for the Google ads. As a business owner, you're like, only broke even on this job. The lead was too expensive. But then that homeowner, you did their neighbor's house, and then you did their cousin's house, and then their parents' house. So that won $1,000 lead. You didn't make money on the front end. It's all about making money on the back end. And it's like, now that lead knows your company, they're going to go to you for this, and they're going to tell their friends about you. And it's just the word of mouth ripple effect where too many people worry about the cost per conversion in the front end, but they don't realize it's all about the back end at the end of the day.
So we're going to go to number 2 in a second, but I gotta find something out. Were you using that as a number, or is that a New York like real thing that is $1,000 lead?
It depends the market, you know?
Oh my goodness.
It depends the market. But
we're
talking like HVAC.
About, yeah, we're complaining about $88 and $150. Yeah.
Yeah, I would take that all day. I'm talking roofing and HVAC here. Dumpster business, I'd be like, dumpster business, they pay like $80 a lead, give or take.
Okay.
And that's where it's not profitable. Same thing with junk removal.
So you can't mess around. You could lose your, really quickly.
Yeah.
In those markets. Wow. Then that marketing, if you have a marketing company that's asleep at the wheel, you're SOB.
And in those markets, like let's say you're doing HVAC in Tampa, it's going to cost you probably like $700 to $1,000 per lead. So you need to extrapolate as much like juice possible from that. And that's when I mean it's a sales for number 2, it's a sales and marketing game.
Yes. And so walk me through that, because I don't think enough people understand and that, at the end of the day, this is what it is now. Fortunately or unfortunately, this is what the game is now.
Yeah. And this is just what the game is now. Like word of mouth marketing is great, but the days of just relying on that is not enough anymore. And especially in like cities like Austin, Texas, Tampa, Miami, younger cities where people are all going to search anyway, that like you need to be doing sales and marketing, because it's not the days of like you live in some small town in Pennsylvania and everyone knows the local plumber, everyone knows the local roofer, HVAC guy. It's like the world is changing rapidly and more people are getting into the service-based businesses. There's so much to choose from, like in any market in the country. If you look up HVAC contractor near me, you're going to see a lot of different competition, not only because of social media right now, but just that's where the world is going. Like people are finally realizing like trades is where the money is going to be made these days over something like corporate America. With what's happening with AI, entry-level jobs are just so hard to get now. College is expensive. Like there's just so many factors why people are diving into these industries.
See, like I'm obsessed with like electricity right now. I think if you look at the trends and where we're going, it's not that sought after. Nobody pays attention to it. I know a bunch of guys, mobile welders, who are making killing.
Me too.
Like there's so many different avenues.
And what's interesting, sorry to interrupt, like mobile welding, for example, my friend was started at 14 years old. Yep. By the time he was 18 years old, everyone else is in college. He's making $120,000 a year.
Dude, I got a guy, my accountant's boyfriend, who I'm helping him out. He does welding on just dairy farms in 5 states. He's booked out for 2.5 years.
Yeah. And it's that serious.
Yeah. And it's not even his work. It's bigger companies that don't have the guys to do the work. They're subcontracting him. He has no liability, no nothing. He just goes out, does the work, boom. He's getting to know them. They're getting to know him.
There's something beautiful about that too, man. I was saying this on Spaces last night. Like, there's something beautiful about being that B2B contractor. Yes. And not having to worry about sales and lead generation. There's something beautiful about the guy who's the B2B contractor who's just the roofing sub and everyone wants to use you. Mm-hmm. Or the fencing sub.
I think
there's something beautiful about that too.
I think we've got to a place where I was talking to a group that I'm going to do some work with, a big fund, and do a couple things relationship wise. And they were like, yeah, like it might be our name on the thing. And I was like, dude, I have no ego. I could care less who gets the credit, as long as the end customer and the people involved in the transaction get value out of it. It doesn't really matter to me at all.
The name doesn't matter. I'm the same way, dude. I'm the same way when it comes to that. It's like the name does not matter.
No. As long as everybody's taken care of and my reputation is good, I could care less, dude. That's really okay. So number 3, what's the thing that business owners get wrong?
So 1 and 2. Okay, sales and marketing. Business owners get wrong about marketing. Building a brand is important.
Okay. So here's a better question on the back of that. Do you believe that business owners think that branding and marketing are the same thing?
No, I don't think so. And I think sometimes people go one way too far or one way too far the other way.
Yes.
And when I have a prospect and they're like, I'm paying a branding company $20,000 to build my brand, I don't think I can afford SEO. I don't think I can afford Google Ads. I'm like, whoa, like you kind of have it all wrong. Where like you can pay someone with just as much value and just as much for branding at about $3,000 to $5,000 one time than you would be paying someone $20,000 to do it. And that's good. That's a good point. Like business owners don't know the difference between branding and marketing because they're completely different.
Branding they can't see, marketing they can see, and so they're less patient on the branding side. But it's a long-term play. And the way that I've looked at everything, right, and where you're doing a transaction, marketing, branding, I believe it's a third.
Yep.
Like you should do, SEO, get your brand right first, then you slowly sprinkle in the ads, and then you kind of build it up from there, right? Like it doesn't need to be any more complicated. But you see these guys that get a new business and they just dump $20,000 in PPC, and I'm like, dude, like what are we doing here? Like.
Yeah, like nobody's going to call you if you have 10 Google reviews.
Yeah, exactly. You're not
like you could spend so much money, but if you have 10 Google reviews, they're going to pick the guy with 400 Google reviews.
Well, here's the subconscious behavior that's existing in there. The PPC ads feel like action.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're doing something. And so branding doesn't have a feel to it. You know what I tell my HVAC guys all the time? You're not selling anything that people can see. You're selling something people can feel.
Yes.
So it's very hard.
I have a good example of that. I have a good example of that because I live in South Florida. Yeah. I always see a billboard. It says, "Your wife is hot." Big letters, "Your wife is hot." And then it's like a pretty woman next to an air conditioner. And it's like, that's good freaking branding. Every time me and my wife are driving on the highway and I see it, I'm like, "Oh, your wife is hot." Like, it's such good branding, and something so small like that. Like, if I need an HVAC guy, I'm going to look up "Your wife is hot" and their website shows up. And that's something which I think is like psychologically, it's uncapped ROI for something like that.
And I think that also you have to be in a position where you have enough revenue where you can take chances like that you might not see the payoff for later on, right? And so, in my opinion, might have been out of your post or might have been the conversation last night that, the basic, like a website, a logo, some SEO, and GLS ads, like that is kind of like the foundation for everything.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. With a physical location on the Google business profile. Yeah. That's the most important part.
That's it. If you don't have that, then you don't have anything, in my opinion. Like it's not. I
agree with you.
And I think all that, I don't want to be ridiculous, but I think all that you could get done for like, $5,000, maybe, so it's not like, but that should be in your budget right away.
And like I was on the call on the Spaces last night, some guy was buying like a $10 million roofing company. They're doing $10 million in top line. And I asked him like, any reason why you rather buy that company than start it yourself? Because that's an expensive purchase. And it's like what you're doing for that, like, there might be better ways to do it that are less expensive. You know what I mean? Like sometimes businesses are just selling for crazy multiples now where they're marketing and sales games.
Because I mean, I've seen the inside of some roofing businesses that are doing like 3% margins.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
one mistake, man.
Dude, I remember when we first started looking at businesses, I was new to the game, and I looked at a construction pool business in Texas, and I
Yeah.
brought it to my business partner, and he goes, "This is the worst business I've ever seen in my entire life." I was like, "Tell me what I did wrong," and he gave me like a long list, and I was like, "Okay, now I know like to what to look for," and so at the end of the day, like. Okay. So I'm sure that you get, because I know I see it every day. I'm sure that you get a million customers who are upset with their previous, or they've been burned or stuff like that. Like, how do you get over? Like, it's almost like they need to be like rewired in their brain. Okay, go ahead.
There's two sides to the game. Some people are just clueless. And people on Twitter actually aren't that way. It's been really great working with people from Twitter because they actually understand. We run a lot of Facebook ads and we're selling to cold traffic. So many of those people either have gotten burnt or they don't know what the hell they're signing up for. They're just signing contracts. They're not reading anything. They're like, I thought we were running Google ads. Like, we're running SEO. And like, it goes so both sides. We're like, I lost a client yesterday ranking number 1 for like 8 different roofing keywords, had 110 leads last month. We can track every lead, track every phone call, and it's just a sales process issue. And I clapped back at him and I was like, dude, no disrespect, but like, this is a sales issue. This isn't a marketing issue. But to answer your question, I kind of went on a tangent there. To answer your question, like, I tell people straight up like what I'm going to do for you, and I don't put people in contracts. So like if you were a prospect, I'd be like, Austin, like this is what I do. Check out this HVAC company in California. This is how we got them ranked. This is how they rank, and this is exactly what we do. This is the playbook. The way we work is we have a Slack channel where we do all communication with you. We have calls with you every single month. That's what makes us different than most agencies you work with is you don't hear from them for months. You hear from us every single month. We have a 24/7 Slack. If you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, like just Slack us. We're there for you pretty much all the time. Obviously, not every customer is going to like be happy, but as long as like 97, 96% of them are, you have a good, well-running business because that's any business, But just the problem with marketing agencies is some are way worse than others, just like doctors, just like any other business.
No, it's so true. And I think, one of the things that cracks me up about marketing businesses, very sticky business, but also very easy to fire.
Yep.
Somebody posted yesterday, multiple businesses he had. He said, when everybody else gets fearful, that's when I spend more money on marketing. And then they take a line share. And,
Yep.
I think that businesses per se, especially if you're in, trades or whatever you're in, I think you have to stay on the offense. And I think the moment that you go defense, because the problem is a lot of the work that you're doing, whether it be SEO or marketing or spending, it shows up 6 months from now. And when you go on the defense, it really sets you back almost a year, if I'm being honest.
I have a perfect example of that tweet you just said. So I used to run Google ads purposely between December and February, the end of February, for my dumpster business.
Okay.
The reason being is because I was in New York. It was 20 degrees. Not many people were renting dumpsters, so none of the other companies were running ads. My cost per acquisition went from $50 to $27 during that time. So I would run up the budget during those times, get those clients that could be roofers, bathroom remodelers, that would be recurring in the summertime. And I would just run up the budget during that time because no one else was running ads. And that was a really big cheat code for us, is like building up like a book of customers, was running ads during the winter when not many people are, when they're hoarding money, getting ready for the spring. We're like, when you run marketing in the winter, it'll actually help your spring and summer and enhance your business even more. From a recurring perspective,
so smart. And I tell business owners all the time, I said, you think that you're doing marketing and you're doing branding for your customers. And while, yes, you are, but you're also doing it for future business opportunities, future employees, future expanding into new markets. Like, it's just showing that you're in the game. And we've got a lot of hires in the HVAC space because of radio ads or billboards. And they were like, well, I mean, if you're advertising, that's how they found out about us. And so you have to look at it from a whole point of view, not just like a lead point of view.
You need everything working at once. Do you do any Angie's leads? Weird question.
No, it's kind of like going over to Christmas dinner and everybody's hammered.
Yeah.
No. I
I get it now.
I'm obsessed because we work with a lot of different clients too in the consulting space. I'm obsessed with quality appointments.
Yeah.
And I feel like we work with a roofing business right now. I feel like the Angie's leads, someone like that, is a real tire kickers, and they don't even really know what's going on most of the time. But when we book it from a direct source, we seem to have we've judged it. It seems to be a lot higher quality. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but
because it's so hit or miss. I know like you're in like a market where there's not as much competition as, let's say, Miami or something. But that's why
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the
this
story. My buddy just bought a business 2.5 months ago. In Tennessee. From a guy who's been doing mold remediation for 30 years. For the last 7 years, he's done $600 to $1 million every year. He works out of his van, no website, only a phone number, and he 100% Angie's leads.
That's why I asked. That's why I asked.
He's the number one in the area, and he does no insurance, which is crazy to me. I digress. That'll change. But did it all from Angie's Lead and Yelp, and I'm like, dude, like there's so many different ways to skin the cat.
That's why you got to be everywhere.
100%. So if people want to track you down, they want to hunt you down, they want to sign up for an intro call, how would they do that?
They find me on Twitter at iRentDumpsters or at striker-digital.com.
I got it. Now the question remains, since you're out of your dumpster business per se, do you have to change your handle?
I don't want to ruin the algorithm. I've thought about it, but I don't know if like it'll clip me with the algorithm. It's scary, you know?
100%.
It's a good question.
You're gonna be 90 years old. You're gonna be 90 years old, you know. Well,
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Everybody,
Thank you.
share it around.
Thank you for having me.
Send you. See you, buddy.
Thank you, sir.